Take me out to the bowl game. Sports fans, welcome to Full Count. SportsMemo's MLB betting coverage show. We're coming to you live today, guys, and we'll be covering baseball with some of the best handicappers, analysts, columnists, and sports bettors on the planet. We're going to be giving out free picks for today's game and plenty of time for you to take advantage of those free picks. I'm your host, world champion handicapper, Vegas' biggest daily sports bettor, Joe D'Amico. We've got a great panel today talking about Game 4, the Fall Classic. Let's bring them on. God, two of my favorite people in the world, let alone in the industry. Dan Kaiser, Nick Parsons. Let me start with Dan. Dan, good afternoon to you, sir. How are you?
Good afternoon. Doing good.
I love Dan. He's a great guy. My good buddy, Nick. Nick, great backyard there. Nick, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Yeah, coming off a winner last night on the under in the baseball here. So looking forward to getting into this one with you.
I got to tell you, Nick, your voice is as smooth as silk. You remind me of the guy Don Cornelius from the Soul Train back in the 80s. We used to watch all day long. We used to go play Little League. Then we'd come home and we watch Little League. Then we watch cartoons. And then you would know the end of the cartoons would come when Soul Train came on. And it was Don, peace, love, and soul. And you have a voice as smooth as silk. It's just, if I ever want to get like if the IRS is ever going to tell me that I'm going to be audited, I want you to give me the news. Guys, we got the best cast today, best panel. We got two of the best in the business. Before we give out some takes on today's Game 4 and a best bet, a couple of quick announcements. Wow, I'm very excited. You know, the customer appreciation over at SportsMemo is unrivaled. I got to tell you, it takes me back every day, and it floors me every day. The $2 Tuesday special is still available. JM Sports, you know him as Jeff Michaels, our good buddy Don Buster Sports, and the Insiders Room, Nick Parsons right here. All three of their 5-unit plays are still available. They're $2 a piece. But, guys, even me, I went and I bought the 3-game package for $5. You can't beat that with a bat. No pun intended. It's the Full Count show. But I want you to know they each have 3. They each have a 5-unit play, $2 a piece. But the best deal is get all 3 cappers, $5. We'll tell you more about Nick's when it's his turn on the best bet segment. Other than that, guys, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single moment of our extraordinary content shared YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Tons of free winners, some great betting insights, and a few laughs to boot. So without any further ado, because you know how much I hate to do, guys, World Series Game 4, 8:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Currently the line, depending on what book, I took a consensus, guys. Phillies minus $1.15, the total 7.5, under minus 120. Let's start with our good buddy Dan Kaiser. Dan, give us your take.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. To be honest, this hasn't been a good World Series for me up to this point. I don't know. I just can't seem to get a feeling for this one. Did the show yesterday, and we talked about this game, and I said I thought yesterday's game, the Phillies, was a game that they needed to win, and they came out and took care of business. Unfortunately, I had the Astros last night and the under, and the over, and I thought the Astros would at least get a couple runs in that game, but to no avail. Yeah, this one, I've got a slight lean in this one to the Astros. I like Javier, the way he's pitched in the playoffs when he has pitched. His last time he started, it was against the Yankees. He gave up 1 hit. There's something about the way he pitches. He just seems calm and cool and collective out there. I just like the way he pitches. And so far, Nola, his last 2 starts in the playoffs have not been good. He's been giving up some runs. He gave up the 5 runs the first game against the Astros in Game 1, and the Phillies were able to come back and get the win in that one. So, and that's kind of the Phillies thing. They need a big game out of Nola because their bullpen has been decent, but it's nothing you can count on game in and game out. And if the Astros can get a good outing out of here from Javier, I like their bullpen. I said the Phillies needed to win. I thought Phillies needed to win the last game to have a chance in this series, and I think that Astros need to win this one. So with the Astros with their back against the wall, I'll slightly on the Astros in this one.
As his breakdowns and analysis just amaze me every time he's on the show. Every time we share a panel together, he's a small lean on the Astros, and I'll tell you what, Dan. I think yesterday on one of the shows, I gave out the Astros too. I didn't. It looked to me like the right side. Great stuff from Dan Kaiser. We're going to go right into Nick Parsons. You know him as the Insiders Room. I love Nick, guys. He has one of the smoothest voices in the industry. He's also one of the best in the industry and wins. I love sharing a panel with Nick. I know you do too. Nick, give us your take. World Series Game 4 going off tonight, 8:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Houston and Philly. Phillies 115, 7.5 under 120. Take it away.
Yeah, an interesting series, and I've done decently so far in the World Series here. As I mentioned, I had the under in that one in the last game, and so yeah, Philly. I mean, from wild card all the way to this point, the weak point, as Dan had pointed out, has been their bullpen, and that was definitely the case during the regular season. But it's looked a lot better here during the playoffs. What's up with the 2-3-2 in baseball still? You know what I mean? If Philly wins tonight, it could be all over for Mattress Mac and his $70 million bet. But this is definitely an interesting matchup, as Dan pointed out. Nola started out really strong, but he's really struggled. And so, and then Javier, he has looked really good during the regular season and also in the playoffs. But one thing, which I'm not sure, or Dan didn't mention, he was just terrible versus the Braves in the World Series last year. He was lit up. So, I mean, that was then and this is now. Once again, I do actually have a big play on the total on this one, Joe. So go check that one out. And so those are my initial thoughts on this series.
Great stuff from Nick Parsons, who has a big play on the total tonight on the premium side and is one of the featured $2 Tuesday cappers in his play, as well as JM Sports and Don Buster is still alive. We'll tell you more about that in a minute. He says that he says, great stuff. And by the way, Nick, you mentioned Mattress Mac. I got to talk to Mattress Mac once, and hell of a guy. And I think around 75 million he has wagering on this, or on the line on this.
Yeah.
What was funny is I don't know if you saw the stuff on social media. I don't normally give social media a shout out here on any of the SportsMemo TV shows, but I got to tell you, if you saw any of the footage before last night's game, he was in the stands. He was having a good time. People go, "Hey, we love you. We're a nice guy. You're a nice guy. You do a lot for charity and blah, 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 blah." And everything. And, oh, yeah, it's great. And after the show, people were razzing him so bad. I never heard curse words come out of an older gentleman like that. My entire life. Crazy. The only time I hear stuff like that from a senior is when I go to bingo, like here in one of the casinos. I open up the door going, bingo, after like three numbers are called, and it pisses off all the seniors. But I got to tell you, a lot of great stuff. But you know what? Magic Mike does do a lot of charity stuff. But I guess, the Philly fans can get on anybody. I will tell you that. I've been to Philly for baseball, basketball, and football. And I will tell you, the crowd is there in every one of the venues. I'll tell you that. So I'm glad you mentioned Matches Back, because it just made me laugh. Guys, without any further ado, we're going to the most exciting portion of the show, the best bet segment. And we're going to go with the same order. My good buddy Dan Kaiser, I get to share a panel with Dan, college football, pro football, the First Family Show, and this show, the Full Count Show. And Dan is one of the brightest guys and sharpest guys in this industry, and he always brings a unique angle to his betting insights. And I know you guys love it because he's become a fan favorite the last few months since he started here at SportsMemo. And he's also on quite a few of the leaderboards. And if I'm not mistaken, the last time I spoke to Dan, one of the top guys in the NFL over the last 30 plus days. I'll tell you that. I know this is a baseball show, but guys, we don't mind tooting our horns because we have the best collection of cappers around the planet. Dan's going to tell you a little bit about what he's been doing, what he's about to be doing on the premium side, and he's got a couple of best bet props for you for tonight's game. Dan, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, and I am still there for the NFL. So check that out coming up closer to the weekend. I've stayed off this World Series game for tonight. I just didn't feel anything. I do have a couple of games up for Maction, but for yesterday, I gave out the best bet on yesterday's MLB show was McCullers over 4.5 strikeouts, and we cashed that one in the bottom of the third inning. Unfortunately, he gave up as many home runs as he did have in strikeouts, but that's for another story. My best bet today, I played this myself yesterday, and it was an easy cash. It's two separate bets. It's player props. Take both Harper and Schwarber over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. This one cashed easy yesterday, and you look at it. If each one of them hits a home run, which is is more than likely, right there, it's a winner. If Schwarber gets out with a single and Harper follows it up with a home run, it's a winner. you got a good chance of cashing both of these, and I think you have more than a 50% chance at least cashing one, which at least gets you a split for the day. But I think both of these will cash just the way both these players have been hitting in this series.
Great stuff, Dan Kaiser. Dan says Harper and Schwarber, each one of them over 1.5 in the runs, hits, RBIs. Great stuff. And Dan, you mentioned McCullers. There's some more stuff going around. You can never forget about during the regular season if something happens, but when you're getting down to crunch time, the playoffs, postseason, there's some stuff going around about McCullers tipping pitchers. Have you seen anything about that? They tipped pitches last night. Did you read anything about that?
I've read it. I've read some of the stuff. He says it wasn't that. I think that could be the problem. Something to look out for Javier tonight is, McCullers had 9 days off between starts, and he's not a power pitcher. He's a off speed curveball type of pitcher, and sometimes that long rest like that throws you off, and he just didn't seem to have command of anything last night. And I think they knew he couldn't get his fastball over, so I think they sat a lot on his curveball and his off speed pitches. And if you can sit on an off speed pitch, you saw what happened. They were waiting for it, and they got it, and they drove it out of the park. I just kind of I don't think he was tipping pitches, but it's one of those things, I don't know. But
all right, Grand Kaiser, thank you. I mean to put you on the spot.
That's all right.
I will tell you this, Dan. I was born in 1969. Grew up in the 70s and the 80s, and for me, what I thought was, I don't want to say the golden era of baseball, but it was certainly a different era. And I remember going to games across the country, and there were certain pitchers that were known for certain pitches, certain speed, certain power pitches, certain guys off speed, and they would tell you, guys, it's coming right down the middle, dare you to hit it. I think the game is changing. Obviously, batters and in general, players are in better shape. They study films, they study tendencies. They're in a lot better shape. Pitchers can throw harder and faster. Batters can swing harder and faster than ever. But I got to tell you, man, I remember the days where I would see guys take them out for different teams. Go again. I'm throwing you the curve. I'm throwing you the slide. There was always a guy that had a fork ball, something weird, but I'm throwing you the speed. I dare you to hit it. And they would say some expletive because back in those days, you could brush a guy back without getting thrown out. And I don't have a problem with that either, by the way. I think, if a pitcher, if a batter's going to be crowding the plate, let the pitcher brush it back. I think it's fair game. If you're going to go out and beam people, then your next batter, the batter for your team in the next inning is going to get hit too. I got no problem with that. I don't want anybody to get if you to try to kill me, or we know that the Raiders of the 70s we would go to cripple people, but that defense. And I'm not talking about seriously hurting people, but I don't have a problem with good, strong competition. But we saw pitchers back in those days. I dare you to hit it, and tell them to go jump a rope or something. But it's funny how the game is changing. Now they're talking about McCullers tipping pitches. I just wanted to know. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. And I appreciate
that's fine.
Thank you, Dan. Great stuff from Dan Kaiser. Guys, Dan's a winner. Still killing it on the gridiron. All over that leaderboard, 30 days, 35 days. He's going to keep it going after the show. Follow Dan. You're going to follow him to the bank. Don't matter if it's on the gridiron, the diamond, the hardwood. Guys, he is a winner. Now, speaking of winners, my good buddy Nick Parsons, smoothest voice I know. I've got to tell you, I am so happy for him that he's on the $2 capper again. He's got a big 5-unit play that is still available. Obviously, get it for $2, but get all 3 cappers. Him, Don Buster, Jeff Michaels, for $5. But he's been doing some great work too, and I like doing the panels with Nick as well. He's not just one of my favorite people in the world because he's always professional. He's always there to have a good time, but he gives great content. But he is a winner. Okay, when he came to SportsMemo a few months ago, I grabbed him right away on the First Family Show because I got to tell him, you got to come on. As soon as he came over, I said, you got to come on. Yes, we got it. Now, like the mob, you can't leave once you're in the First Family Show. And I love working with Nick Parsons. He's a real great capper, and numbers don't lie. If you don't believe me, go over to SportsMemo after the show. You're going to follow him. Look at those numbers. You'll follow him to the bank. He's going to tell you about what he's been doing. He's going to tell you a little bit more in detail about his 5% $2 Tuesday plate, maybe some other premium plays he's putting up, and he's going to give you a best bet for tonight's game. Nick, this floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. And I mean, I know that you have had the honor of being the $2 Tuesday capper many times and recently and stuff. And to get that privilege, you have to be quite hot in a certain sport. And so that's the case for me, for myself in college football. 6 straight weeks of winning on the college gridiron. So I have a big 5% play up over at SportsMemo. You can check that out, the Insider's Room. And so, guys, on this game, as I say, I had a total play on the total last night. I had the under. That was successful. I have a play on the total again tonight, so you can go check that out. But on this one, I've gone back and forth. I debated with some of the guys in the Insider's Room Discord, and one of the main guys over there, Rye Cape. He's diehard Phillies fan. He's from Philly. He's involved in our Discord a lot in there. And, I mean, he has no problem going against the Phillies or any of his teams. He's not like a homer so much that he won't bet against his teams or anything. But I know that he really likes the Phillies tonight, and he's trying to convince me of that again. But here, for me, I think that this is a pitching matchup which favors the Astros, and the bottom line is I think that's going to be the difference. As Dan was pointing out earlier, Nola, he had a decent regular season. He had a really good start to the playoffs, but he's since he's been shelled for 11 runs over his last 9 innings, spanning 2 starts. Now Javier, as I mentioned, he has struggled in the World Series in the past, but that was then and this is now. He finished 11-9 with a 2.54 ERA in the regular season. He's 1-0 with a 1.35 ERA over 7 innings of work in the playoffs. Yeah, so as I say, Joe, I got a big play on the total in this one. But for this one, I have a very strong lean for the Astros. They're not going to panic here. They're not hitting the panic button. These guys are experienced. And so, yeah, starting pitching favors Houston. There you go.
My good friend, Nick Parsons, you know him as the Insider's Room, says a strong lean on the Astros. He's got a big premium play on the total tonight. He loves it. And when he loves something, he's like, yeah, Hunting, people listen, I'm going to tell you that. Plus, don't forget, $2 Tuesday featured capper, big 5-unit play. He's a winner. You're going to follow him to the bank. Now, guys, adjust the volumes because your sexy and savory host is going to chime in here. I was a little quiet during the show today. I'm still dealing with a bad back. But I got to tell you, I am excited about my free play tonight. But once again, let me tell you what else I'm excited about. Right now, currently, I know there's a baseball show. Currently, number 1, NBA capper, both in winning percentage and profit over at SportsMemo, hitting over 70%. $100 bettors are up over $1,680. Another easy winner last night on the Thunder. That's my AC/DC homage. Guys, I'm here to give you winners, not action. I personally passed on premium releases today. I thought all the cards were very difficult. I'm not here to give you action. I'm here to give you winners. And if I'm not betting my hard-earned money, I don't expect you to either. But this is a perfect time for you to go to SportsMemo after the show. Take advantage of these great customer appreciation discounts. Follow the best big game capper on the planet. This past weekend, another 10% winner. 17-2 in 2022, my biggest games there is. And I want you to know we've got some great all sports inclusive packages over there at SportsMemo. You follow Joe D, you're going to follow me to the bank. Hell, when I'm done with you, you'll be the bank friggin' president. Now, let me go into my best bet for today's show. If you watched the First Family Show this morning, and I don't know why you didn't. There's no friggin' excuse not to watch the First Family Show. Watch it every morning. Wake up with Joe and Dan and our great guests because I was very excited about my free play today and it is on this game. And I'm going to go reiterate what I did this morning very quickly because, I like an afternoon quickie. Been married 22 years. For a team that possesses one of the most explosive lineups in baseball and that is accounted for 10 runs in the first 2 games of the World Series, the Astros were blanked in Game 3, as we all know, yesterday, 7-0. They are now down 2-1. They have their back to the wall. They must even out the series, guys. I'm not looking at this as a doofer factor. This is a very good team. Nick really touched on a few angles that I wanted to talk about. This is a very good team. They're not rattled. They've been here before. And in all sincerity, if you're going to talk a baseball dynasty, this team is about a baseball dynasty. They need to get another one this year to really be considered that and to get over that other hump from 2017 that everybody's going la. Let's put that in the past, guys. I looked this up a couple times because I wanted to verify it and verify it again. This is a team that prior to yesterday's contest, they were only blanked 10 times this entire season. So once again, so far in 172 games played 2022. Between the regular and postseason, the Astros were held without a run just 11 times. That stat to me is very, very impressive. It astounds me. All right, you can bet your bottom dollars, held that. You can bet your ass they're going to come out here swinging, and they are not going to take that yesterday's loss lying down. All right, then they're going to look to even out this series, and I think they will even out this series. Not to do for factor. Aaron Nola, Christian Javier, scheduled starters. Nola 11-13 with a 3.25 during the regular season. During the postseason, very respectable 2-1. But his ERA did float up. My good buddy Dan Kaiser mentioned this 4.57. On the other hand, Javier went 11-9 during the regular season, and ERA very respectable. Hell, really respectable, 2.54. The postseason 1-0 mark with a 1.35 ERA. With their back up against the wall and the fact that they were blank yesterday, I expect Houston to come out here and score some runs against Nola. Folks, I'm well aware of the fact that the Phillies are undefeated at Citizens Bank Park this postseason, but the Astros, here's a couple of trends I really like. 4-0 the last 4 during Game 4 of the series. 7-1 the last 8 versus right-handed starters. 8-2 the last 10 overall playoff games. 4-1 the last 5 playoff games played on the road. And this is the most important stat and really has significance. 37-14 the last 51 following a loss. This team does not string together losses. They do not slump. If they did, they wouldn't be this far. This is a very good team. I like them a lot tonight. It almost made it as a premium play, but I really want to sit back and enjoy the game. I didn't want to feel like I'm throwing it out at you as a premium play as a do-for factor, okay? I do feel this team is still very much in this series. But for them to have a real shot at the series, they have to win tonight. Otherwise, guys, 3-1 is very tough in any postseason baseball. Guys, let's bring our crew back on. I really love these guys. I really do. And by the way, I want a big shout out to our buddy Chris, who's producing this. Now, if you notice, I didn't make any flubs or mistakes during the show. That's because I'm not handling anything but the intro and the outro. So the pressure is on me on the end. My good buddy Chris, we love you, Chris. Hi. Anyway, guys, be sure to tune into all SportsMemo TV content. And don't forget to go to SportsMemo after the show and take advantage of those great customer appreciation discounts. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel because you don't want to miss any of our amazing content very quickly. My good buddy Dan Kaiser, the hottest NFL cop in the land. Anywhere on the planet, he's hot. And my good buddy Nick, feeling real strong tonight on the total. And he's still got that $2, 5% featured capper, $2 Tuesday. It's still alive. But also, once again, let me just throw out my good buddy Don Buster and Jeff Michaels, JM Sports. Their $2 capper place is still there. Get all 3 for $5, man. You can't beat that with a bat. I said it before. I say it again. You can't get a lap dance at a Boulder Highway strip club for $5, and those girls ain't got no teeth. I had to throw something in there that's a little off color. Now, guys, it's time to go. Let me hit Dan up real quick. Then we're gonna get and then Nick. Closing thoughts and comments, then we're going to close up shop and go home. Dan, closing thoughts and comments for our viewers.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one, Joe. Go Astros, and good luck to everybody.
Dan, thank you. I love Dan. Man, a few words, but they're very, very potent words. Nick Parsons.
Well, you've outlined it a lot here, just about the customer service with SportsMemo and about all the different deals that the customers can take advantage of. And so, guys, definitely take advantage of that $2 Tuesday play or get all 3 cappers for $5. That is definitely the ultimate value. Joe's already picked that up. And, guys, yeah, go Astros.
All right, guys, we got the best collection of cappers on the planet here at SportsMemo and our brother's website as well. Wager Talk. A lot of people, once again, I know I'm babbling today. A lot of people think these are 2 separate companies. This is one company, just 2 separate names. Want you to know, best collection of cappers on the planet. We're handpicked. SportsMemo, Wager Talk. You go there after the show, you're going to find that you will find somebody tailor-made just for you. So that's it, guys. Everybody out there, on behalf of SportsMemo, Dan and Nick, this is Joe D'Amico. Good luck. Have a winning day.